It's early, but as I look at the clock, I realize it's nearing 9 a.m. It feels, though, like my body has been hit by a truck, an old yet accurate saying. I'm trying to will myself towards movement, to swing my legs over the right side of the bed. I've already been awoken by a Twitter notification where I was invited to, quote, go make me a sandwich. Persistence requires movement, a pathway forward towards some measurable goal. It requires getting up. I can feel sometimes the energy of my persistence eroding the happy-go-lucky aura of my colleagues and strangers. I can tell that sometimes my movement is curbing their fun. Maybe that's what I'm trying to do. I am trying to persist. And I've been working on my persistence. See, for so long, my feminist bones demanded I stay still, stay grounded, remember the path. In grad school, wonderment overtook my wandering desires, with feminist histories performed as every days unfolded. I didn't have to move to witness. We breathed a need for learning, for criticism. Why wander when wonderment's delivered to your door? But now, my persistence requires wonderment. Now institutions feel like locations for entrapment, and I miss those memories where ruining the fun was the fun of the day. Now, they live in the archives of my memory, an archive that consists not only of the stories and images of the past, but of the act of transfer, without which we would have no access to them. Is my persistence transferable? I don't like the room one bit. I wanted one downstairs, but he wouldn't hear of it. The color is repellent, almost revolting, a smothering, unclean gray, strangely faded by the slow-turning sunlight. It's dull enough to confuse the eye and following, pronounced enough to constantly irritate and provoke study. And when you follow the uncertain curves for a little distance, they suddenly plunge off at outrageous angles, destroy themselves in unheard-of contradictions. There is a recurring spot where the pattern looks like a broken neck and two bulbous eyes staring at you upside down. I never saw so much expression in an inanimate thing before. One of those sprawling, flamboyant patterns, committing every artistic sin. I must put this away. He hates when I write. I'm tired, but I get up, and sensation fills my legs. My persistence is always sensational, since persistence is always already feminist. When you speak as a feminist, Sarah Ahmed reminds, you have to deal with strong reactions. To be committed to a feminist life, to persist, might require being willing to elicit those reactions. I feel like my movement is always reacting or overreacting. I'm always killing the joy despite my joyful renderings. You're always smiling in your office, he noticed. I am. I sigh. I suppose I am. Am I? I always feel like the downer with feminist posters and books strewn about. Do I always smile? What's the happy occasion, I wonder? Wandering to move towards something. I've been here 2 weeks, and I haven't felt like writing before. I'm really getting fond of my room, all but the horrid gray, the horrid concrete. It's so discouraging not to have any advice and companionship about my work. But I mustn't think of that. The gray looks to me as if it knows what a vicious influence it had. This gray has a kind of sub-pattern in a different shade, a particularly irritating one, for you can only see it in certain lights and not clearly then. I can see a strange, provoking, formless sort of figure. I cry at nothing. Cry most of the time. It's early again, I think. The ding of a social media notification pulls my attention away from the popcorn ceiling that I've been meaning to scrape away. Glancing at my phone, I see a message from an unknown follower. She compliments my work and asks for more. You're so eloquent, she writes. Can you post more? My body feels like it's been hit by a truck. I smile to myself, but quickly wipe the emotive energy away from my face, thinking through the archives of work I've read. I'm getting really fond of the room in spite of the gray concrete. Perhaps because of the gray. There's always more. There is one marked peculiarity about this gray concrete, a thing nobody seems to notice but myself. You're so eloquent, she writes. Can you post more? There is one marked peculiarity about this gray concrete, a thing nobody seems to notice but myself. So eloquent, she writes. Can you post more? There's always more. I'm getting really fond of the room in spite of the gray concrete. You're so eloquent, she writes. More because of the gray. I tell my friends about troublesome encounters that happen in these four walls. What did you do? They ask. Well, what do you mean, what did I do? Well, what did you do? Did you correct them? Did you tell them that it was problematic? What did you do? Behind the gray, the shape gets clearer every day. It's always the same shape, only very numerous. And it's like a woman stooping down and creeping about behind that gray concrete. I don't like her a bit, I wonder. The faint figure behind seemed to just shake the concrete just as if she wanted out. Bless her heart. The danger of persistence, of always moving forward, is the perception that you're always running, that you're always moving. Your directionality is somehow outward and elsewhere. I wander near my bookshelf, staring into the pages, aware that the shelf still makes a wall. I wander to find ways to do more, to search. I persist to find her. Life is very much more exciting now than it used to be. You see, I have something more to expect, to look forward to watch. In the places of the gray where it isn't faded and where the sun is just so, I can see a strange, provoking, formless sort of figure. Sometimes I think there are a great many women behind, and sometimes only one. I've seen her. I got up and ran to help her. I pulled and shook. I shook, and she pulled, and before morning we pulled all the gray off of the concrete. I wonder if they all come out of the concrete as I did.